The moment Gao Tu found out he was pregnant, his mind went completely blank. It was as if the world around him had suddenly dissolved into silence. The sterile white walls of the clinic blurred before his eyes, and the harsh, cold light above seemed to mock him. He could barely breathe. His heart pounded in his chest, and for the first time in his life, fear and uncertainty completely overtook him. The pheromone doctor, a stern, experienced Omega who had treated countless patients, looked at him gravely. "Mr. Gao," he said, his voice firm but tinged with concern. "As a patient with a pheromone disorder, it is impossible for you to give birth alone without the cooperation of a partner. You cannot do this safely." Gao Tu nodded slowly, the doctor's words hitting him like icy water. He knew the advice was correct, yet every part of him rebelled at the thought of giving up the child growing inside him. He swallowed hard, struggling to find his voice. The doctor's eyes were sharp, filled with years of experience and bitter understanding. "Out of responsibility for your life, I must suggest terminating the pregnancy immediately. Giving birth alone. It would be far too dangerous." Gao Tu's lips trembled. "Is there no other way?" He whispered, pale and fragile. "I've read that there are artificial soothing pheromones now. Or maybe I could try using the pheromones of other alphas with a higher matching degree." The doctor's expression softened, but only slightly. "That is not very practical," he replied, his tone heavy with regret. He glanced at Gao Tu's frail figure, noting the emaciation, the dark circles under his eyes from insomnia, and the tremors that ran through his body. The past few days had been torturous for Gao Tu, vomiting, loss of appetite, sleepless nights, and even doctors who encountered him by chance felt a pang of pity. "That alpha you like, he is such a scumbag," the doctor said sharply, frustration flashing in his eyes. Gao Tu's head snapped up, a sharp retort on his lips. "He's not," he muttered, lowering his gaze, a low hum of shame escaping him. It's my own fault." The doctor's eyes widened in disbelief and exasperation. "What's wrong with you?" he exclaimed, slamming the medical record card onto the table. "No matter what your problems are, you cannot get pregnant alone. And doesn't that scum who hates Omegas, who despises your very nature, have any responsibility for this?" Gao Tu shook his head, refusing to dwell on blame. He didn't want to discuss who was at fault. That was pointless now. What mattered was the here and now, finding a practical solution, protecting the child and navigating this dangerous situation. With a shaky breath, he looked up at the doctor. "I know you are doing this for my own good," Gao Tu said quietly. "But I really want this child." His voice faltered as the words left his mouth, and a flush of embarrassment rose to his cheeks. To admit such a desire openly, to acknowledge that he wanted Shen Wenlang's child, filled him with both shame and a strange warmth. Meanwhile, on the other end of the city, Shen Wenlang's phone buzzed insistently. "Gao Tu ran away," Shen Wenlang muttered to Huayang, his voice unusually cold. Huayang frowned, raising an eyebrow. "Didn't Secretary Gao run away a long time ago?" Shen Wenlang's expression hardened. "This time, it's different." He always had this way of responding to major matters with an icy, almost frozen demeanor. Nothing seemed to stir him emotionally, except when the matter was personal and urgent. Hu Haiyang's mind wandered briefly, recalling when he first met Shen Wenlang. At that time, Shen's parents were on the verge of a violent, destructive breakup. His Omega father, desperate and twisted by circumstance, had attempted to conceive an alpha's child by force. The incident escalated to bloodshed, a shocking, horrifying scene in which Shen Wenlang's father's new lover was shot in the head. Brain matter and blood painted a gruesome portrait of tragedy. Shen Wenlang's Omega father had been sent to prison by his alpha father, only to disappear mysteriously 3 days later, leaving behind a scene of deadly silence and lifeless blood. The world had turned dark for Shen Wenlang from that point on. At his father's funeral, a young Shen Wenlang, already cold and detached, uttered a single chilling sentence. "This is good." He finally ended his life without dignity. From that day forward, Shen Wenlang's hatred for omegas and children grew so intense it was almost physical. Even the faintest scent of an omega could trigger nausea, repulsion, a visceral reminder of betrayal and pain. Now, on the phone with Hua Yang, that same chilling tone returned to his voice. His words were slow, deliberate, each syllable sharp and distant. Gao Tu's father said that Gao Tu is pregnant, and the child is mine. He stated, his voice void of warmth, factual and cutting. He paused briefly, mentioning Gao Ming. Gao Ming said, "But if I want Gao Tu to abort the baby, I must give him 10 million. 10 million. The sum sounded absurdly small in Hua Yang's ears. He was in his kitchen, apron dusted with flour, stirring soup for Shang Xiaoyu when the news hit him. He set down the spoon with a clatter, disbelief evident in his expression. That Gao Ming has no concept of money at all, right? He holds such a powerful bargaining chip in his hands, and he wants to blackmail you. 10 million? He should ask for at least 100 million. 10 million? It's an insult." Hua Yang. Shen Wenlang's voice cracked, filled with hysteria. Now is not the time to joke. Hua Yang raised a hand in mock surrender, tasting the soup before responding gently. "Oh, okay, but tell me, do you agree?" Shen Wenlang's mind reeled. Agree? Agree to what? To give him 10 million and let Gao Tu abort my child? His voice trembled, his composure cracking. Hua Yang's voice was calm, almost teasing. "Yes! Don't you hate omegas and children even more?" Gao Tu was a beta, Hua Yang reminded him silently, and yet somehow, against all odds, he was pregnant. Shen Wenling ran his hand over his face, his thoughts chaotic. The chance of a male beta getting pregnant is 1 in 100,000. Is he just lucky? Hua Yang's correction was dry, sharp, yet almost humorous. Good luck? I think it's more like bad luck for 8 lifetimes. Shen Wenling's frown deepened, suspicion rising in his chest. It's impossible for anyone to get pregnant with my child unless... His voice trailed off as he recalled Hua Yang mentioning a photo from the night in question. Didn't you take a photo of that omega at dinner that day? Shen Wenling demanded. Well, I sent it to you a long time ago, Hua Yang replied. Impatience flared, and Shen Wenling immediately opened WeChat, scrolling through their chat history. He searched for the photo, but the image had expired and could not be buffered. Send it again. Shen Wenling ordered sharply. Hua Yang clicked his tongue, mockingly disappointed at Shen's tone, yet complied. Moments later, the photo finally loaded. A tense silence fell over the line. Shen Wenling didn't speak. The only sounds were the heavy, restrained breathing that crackled over the phone. Hua Yang's voice finally broke the silence. Hello? Are you going to have a sudden cerebral hemorrhage and faint? Shen Wenling's reply came like an explosion. You're the one having a cerebral hemorrhage. His voice cracked, sharp and accusatory, anger blazing. Hua Yang, you knew all along, didn't you? You knew Gao Tu was an omega? That's why you said those nonsense things about him running away when he saw me. And that's Gao Tu's story. A journey of courage, love, and impossible choices. If you are captivated by his struggle and want to see more stories like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts below. What would you do if you were in Gao Tu's shoes?